He's the oldest human specimen we have that is so complete, so well preserved, with all the scientific disciplines that are intrigued by him, that want answers. He may well be the most studied human being in history.
Could this be the oldest humans ever discovered? Ancient civilizations have left us many mysteries, especially those that have been hidden under ice for thousands of years.
All of a sudden I heard this guy cry out, "Mummy!"
Recently, scientists have uncovered well-preserved bodies from these long-lost cultures, revealing secrets about their lives and practices. These discoveries offer a fascinating glimpse into our history and how people once lived in harsh environments. In this video, we'll explore some of the most curious finds from ancient civilizations buried beneath the ice. Number 1. Ody the Iceman.
He's the oldest human specimen we have that is so complete.
He's so well preserved.
He continues to generate this body of information.
He may well be the most studied human being in history.
Ody, also known as the Iceman, is the natural mummy of a man who lived around 3300 before Christ. His frozen body was found on September 19, 1991, by two German tourists, Helmut and Erika Simon, while hiking in the Ötztal Alps near the border of Austria and Italy. At first, they thought it was the body of a modern-day climber who had recently died. However, further research showed that Ody was killed over 5,000 years ago. He was about 25 to 35 years old, 5 feet 2 inches tall, and weighed around 110 pounds. Initially, it was believed he died from a cold. But in 2001, X-rays revealed that an arrowhead was lodged in his shoulder, suggesting he was shot and likely died from his injuries. Scientists later discovered that Ody suffered from whipworm, arthritis, and other health issues, though these did not cause his death. He had tattoos, broken bones, and evidence of a haircut. Today, his body and belongings are displayed at the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology in Italy, providing a glimpse into life during the Copper Age. Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. Number 2. Inca Maiden, frozen mummy.
Hey, look. This is a white hair. Look, she had white hair. That's the Doncella's hair. This is very unusual for a 15-year-old to have gray or white hair.
In 1999, an archaeological team led by Dr. Johann Reinhard made an incredible discovery in the Andes Mountains of South America. They were digging high up on Mount Lulao, the world's tallest active volcano, when they uncovered something unbelievable: a mummy. At 22,000 feet above sea level, it was the highest tomb ever found. The mummy was wrapped tightly in beautiful, well-preserved textiles. When they unwrapped her, they found the body of a young Inca girl who became known as the Inca Maiden. Her body was so perfectly preserved that the team felt as if she was still alive, especially when they saw her flawless hands. It was one of the most influential and emotional moments for the team. Along with the girl, they found a collection of objects, including figurines, ceramics, and textiles, all in perfect condition. Archaeologists dated these items back over 500 years, from the time of the Inca Empire, a civilization famous for building Machu Picchu. The Inca ruled much of South America in the 15th century, but left behind no written records, making this discovery even more important. Today, the Inca Maiden is carefully preserved and attracts visitors from around the world. Many people are deeply moved when they see her, as she looks like she is simply sleeping, untouched by time. The discovery gives a rare and valuable glimpse into the life and death of the ancient Inca civilization. Number 3. Lulao Mummies. The children of Lulao are 3 Inca child mummies found on March 16, 1999, by an archaeological team led by Johann Reinhard. They were discovered near the top of Lulao, a 22,110-foot volcano on the border between Argentina and Chile. These children were sacrificed in an Inca religious ceremony around the year 1500. As part of the ritual, the children were given coca leaves and alcohol to put them to sleep before being placed in a small underground chamber where they died. Their bodies are considered some of the best preserved mummies ever found. In 2001, Argentina declared the children of Lulao as National Historic Property. Since 2007, they have been displayed at the Museum of High Altitude Archaeology in Salta, Argentina. The Inca Empire, which rose in the 13th century in the Andes Mountains, became the largest empire in pre-Columbian America by the 1500s. The Inca practiced child sacrifice, known as capacocha, to honor their gods or mark significant events. The children chosen for these sacrifices were often the sons and daughters of nobles and were considered physically perfect. After being purified in rituals, they were taken to high mountaintops to be sacrificed. The Inca believed these children did not indeed die, but instead became guardians of the land from their mountain resting places, watching over their people alongside their ancestors. Number 4. Siberian Princess. Ukok Princess. The Siberian Ice Maiden, also called the Princess of Ukok, was a woman from the 5th century BC, whose mummified body was found in 1993 in Russia's Altai region. She belonged to the Pazyryk culture, which existed in the Siberian steppe between the 6th and 2nd centuries before Christ. The discovery of her remains is considered one of the most important archaeological finds in Russia during the late 20th century. In 2012, her mummy was moved to a unique museum in Gorno-Altaysk, Russia. The Ice Maiden was found buried in a kurgan, a type of burial mound on the Ukok Plateau near the border of Mongolia. This plateau is part of the Eurasian steppes, known for its harsh climate. The local people call this area the second layer of heaven. The discovery was made by archaeologist Natalia Polosmak and her team, who were led to the site by a border guard. The burial chamber, where the Ice Maiden was found, was made of wood, resembling the winter cabins used by semi-nomadic people. Inside the chamber, the Ice Maiden was placed in a log coffin, along with various items, including horses. Number 5. Greenland Ice Mummies. In 1972, hunters in Greenland made a remarkable discovery in the Uummannaq area at a place called Chilakitsok. They found 8 mummies, 6 women and 2 children, dating back to around 1475 Anno Domini. These Greenland mummies were preserved naturally by the freezing temperatures. The mummies were found in 2 graves near the abandoned coastal settlement. 4 of the mummies, including 1 child and 3 women, were so well preserved that researchers studied them without cutting into their bodies, except for a small incision. The other 4 mummies were less preserved, so their clothing was removed for further study. 5 of the women had tattoos, which was common among the Inuit. The tattoos were dark lines on their faces, on their foreheads, over their eyebrows, cheeks, and under their chins. Scientists were puzzled by how these women and children died, especially since no men were buried with them. They tried to find clues, but only confirmed the cause of death for 3 people. 1 woman had a tumor, the older child had a disease, and sadly, the youngest child, only 6 months old, was likely buried alive, following an Inuit custom when no one could nurse the child. 4 mummies, including the baby, are displayed at the Greenland National Museum in Nuuk. Number 6. The Yuka Mammoth. Yuka is the best preserved woolly mammoth ever found. Local tusk hunters in Siberia discovered the carcass in August 2010 and handed it over to scientists who studied it in 2012. Yuka is now displayed in Moscow. Yuka was found near the village of Yukagia, along the coast of the Dmitry Laptov Strait in Siberia. The young female mammoth was discovered in a frozen bluff about 4 meters above beach level. Based on tests done on a fragment of her rib, scientists believe Yuka lived around 34,000 years ago. After the discovery, Yuka was kept in natural permafrost for 2 years until a research team from Yakutsk studied her remains. The mammoth was then transported to the Saga Academy of Sciences and later displayed in Moscow. Yuka was about 6 to 8 years old when she died. Though predators like lions may have attacked her, there was no evidence that they killed her. Number 7. 500-year-old frozen bear found in Siberia. Scientists have made an exciting discovery. A 3,460-year-old brown bear was found almost perfectly preserved in the permafrost of eastern Siberia. This is the first complete carcass of a fossil brown bear ever seen, with soft tissues still intact. The bear was discovered in 2020 by reindeer herders on Bolshoi-Liakovsky Island, part of the new Siberian archipelago, which is about 4,600 kilometers east of Moscow. The Etherican brown bear was preserved due to the frigid temperatures. Along with the bear, scientists found the remains of its last meals, including bird feathers and plants. The bear was about 1.55 meters tall and weighed nearly 78 kilograms. A team of scientists from the Lazarev Mammoth Museum conducted a necropsy to study the bear. They carefully cut through its tough skin to examine the brain and internal organs. They performed various tests, including studying cells, viruses, and genetics. The bear's pink tissues and yellow fat were clearly visible during the examination. This find is unique and gives scientists a valuable opportunity to learn about ancient animals. Number 8. The Franklin Expedition Bodies. The Franklin Expedition aimed to find the Northwest Passage, a sea route connecting Europe and Asia through the Arctic. Instead, it ended in disaster. The 2 ships, HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, and all their crew were lost. The expedition, led by Sir John Franklin, left England in May 1845 with 134 men. They were last seen in July after sending 5 crew members back home. The ships had enough supplies for 3 years, so no rescue missions were sent until 1848. By then, most of the crew had died. Searches in the 1850s revealed that the expedition had spent the winter of 1845-46 on Beechy Island. They found a small cemetery with the graves of 3 crew members who had died there. In the summer of 1846, the ships tried to move south, but got stuck in ice off King William Island. They spent another winter there, but the ice didn't melt in 1847. Franklin died in June 1847, and the remaining crew abandoned the ships in April 1848, hoping to reach a nearby Hudson Bay outpost. By then, 24 men had died. The crew met local Inuit, who later reported seeing dead crew members and mentioned cannibalism. Researchers later studied the remains of 3 crew members and found they died of pneumonia caused by tuberculosis, not scurvy. Number 9. Sapaga Mammoth. The Sapaga Mammoth was discovered in October 2012, just 2 miles from a polar weather station in Russia. Russian media called it the best preserved mammoth found in the last 100 years. The amazing part? An 11-year-old boy found it while exploring near the station. This male woolly mammoth lived about 48,000 years ago and weighed around 100 pounds, which is quite heavy. The discovery felt like an adventure for the young boy. It took a whole week to dig the mammoth out, using axes and picks carefully. Number 10. The Frozen Mummies of Mount Everest. Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, is also a place where many climbers have sadly lost their lives. The bodies that remain on its slopes are reminders of how dangerous climbing can be. The area known as the Death Zone starts at about 8,000 meters, 26,247 feet. Here, climbers face severe cold, low oxygen levels, and challenging weather. In this harsh environment, many suffer from severe issues like frostbite and altitude sickness. Recovering bodies on Everest is extremely difficult and risky. Helicopters can only operate safely up to a certain height, around 21,000 feet, 6,400 meters, and above that, the air is too thin for them to fly. Retrieving a body can cost over $70,000, requiring a team of skilled rescuers. Because of these challenges, many climbers choose to leave their bodies on the mountain, following a tradition similar to sailors lost at sea. Number 11. Bolivia's Sajama mummies. Guido Valverde is a biochemist from La Paz, Bolivia, working at the URAC Research Institute for Mummy Studies. His interest in mummies started when he was an undergraduate at the Universidad Mayor de San Andrés. While doing lab work in hematology, he found a small book about blood groups in mummies, which inspired him to study this area further. He is now involved in a project called Mumbo, which aims to explore mummified remains from ancient Bolivia. This project is a collaboration between a museum in La Paz and the URAC Institute. Funded by a grant, it will be the first detailed study of these mummies. The project has 3 parts. First, researchers will use computed tomography scans to learn about the mummies' lifestyles, ages, and causes of death. Second, they will analyze ancient deoxyribonucleic acid to understand the genetic diversity of these populations. Lastly, they will focus on preserving the mummies for future studies. Number 12. Mummified body packed in tree bark. In 2015, researchers found a surprising burial site in northern Siberia. They discovered a body wrapped in tree bark, which was unusual and raised many questions. Who was this person? Why the bark? The body was taken to a lab for testing. It turned out to be a young boy, around 7 years old, who died about 750 years ago. The boy was buried with reindeer fur and 4 copper plates, which were strange burial customs not seen before in Siberia. As researchers explored further, they found 88 graves from the same period, but mostly of young boys like him. Only 1 adult female was found, which puzzled the scientists. They think the cold and the copper helped preserve the boy's body. There are signs he might have been influential in his community. The location of the graves near a river suggests it could have had special meaning for these ancient people. However, much about their lives and traditions remains a mystery. Number 13. The oldest ice mummy ever found. In 1992, scientists made an exciting discovery in a remote area thought to be from the Stone Age, dating back to around 3200 before Christ, 500 years before the Great Pyramid of Egypt was built. They found a well-preserved body, along with many artifacts, including the oldest known copper axe, complete with its handle and rope. This axe was significant because it showed that people were smelting copper much earlier than previously believed. Before this find, researchers thought copper smelting started around 2500 before Christ in Italy. The discovery pushed the timeline back by about 1,000 years, changing what scientists understood about early human development. Number 14. Steppe bison, blue babe. In July 2014, the University of Alaska Museum of the North celebrated 30 years since they displayed Blue Babe, a 36,000-year-old mummified bison. This steppe bison was found by gold miners in 1979 while they were melting permafrost with a hose. They quickly alerted the university, which helped uncover Blue Babe's story. Researchers initially dated Blue Babe 36,000 years ago, but now they are using advanced techniques for more accurate dating. Blue Babe got its name from a mineral on its skin and is a nod to Paul Bunyan's Blue Ox. Scientists found claw marks and tooth punctures on the bison, showing an Ice Age lion killed it. The bison likely died in the cold months, which helped it freeze quickly and stay preserved. Today, Blue Babe is unique as the only Pleistocene bison on display from permafrost. Number 15. Boris Cave Lion Cub. Boris is a cave lion cub who lived around 44,000 years ago. He was just 2 to 3 weeks old when he died, possibly due to a cave collapse. Scientists found signs of internal injuries that might have come from a rock falling on him. His body was naturally preserved in the Siberian permafrost. At first, researchers were confused about Boris's lack of a tail and thought he might be an ancient lynx. However, after careful study, they confirmed he was definitely a cave lion cub. Boris is the most giant cub ever found in Yakutia. His bones, brain, and organs were all well preserved. At the time of his death, he was plump and well fed. Another cub named Sparta was discovered later, only 15 meters away, but she lived 18,000 years after Boris, around 26,000 years ago. Number 16. Sparta Female Lion Cub. Scientists have discovered a female cave lion cub named Sparta in Siberia. Her remains are about 28,000 years old and in excellent condition. In 2018, researchers found her in the permanently frozen ground near the Semyuelyak River in Russia's Yakutia region. Amazingly, Sparta might still have some of her mother's milk inside her. This discovery is important because it shows how well preserved these ancient animals can be. As I mentioned earlier, another lion cub named Boris was found nearby in 2017. Both cubs give us valuable information about cave lions that lived thousands of years ago. Sparta's excellent preservation helps scientists learn more about how these animals lived and what their environment was like. The findings make us excited about the secrets still hidden in the permafrost. Number 17. Sasha, baby woolly. Scientists have found the remains of a baby woolly rhino in Siberia, dating back at least 10,000 years. This young rhino, nicknamed Sasha, after the hunter who discovered it, is the only complete young specimen of its kind ever found. Researchers from the Yakutian Academy of Sciences are excited to study Sasha and hope to extract deoxyribonucleic acid to learn more about its place in the animal family tree. They aren't sure if Sasha is male or female, but the name fits either way. Woolly rhinos are much rarer to find than woolly mammoths, so discovering Sasha is a big deal. Number 18. 39,000 years old cave bear. Scientists have made an exciting discovery in Siberia: the remains of a 39,000-year-old cave bear and its cub. Reindeer herders found the bear's carcass on Bolshoi Lyakovsky Island, part of the New Siberian Islands. This find is groundbreaking because until now, only cave bear bones have been discovered. The scientists from Northeastern Federal University in Yakutsk, who study woolly mammoths and other prehistoric animals, were thrilled to see a cave bear with its teeth and nose still intact. Preliminary tests show that the adult bear lived between 22,000 and 39,500 years ago. Cave bears were a species that roamed Europe and Asia during the Pleistocene era, which lasted from about 2.6 million years ago to 11,700 years ago. They went extinct roughly 24,000 years ago. This well-preserved bear is a significant find for understanding ancient life. Number 19. The Ukok bison. The Ukok bison mummy found in northern Yakutia, Russia, is the most complete of its kind ever discovered. This young male bison, around 4 to 4.5 years old, dates back about 10,500 years. Its size is similar to that of a 6-year-old European or American bison. The bison's horns are as large as those of modern bison, while its body size is closer to that of European bison. The color and hair patterns of the Yuka bison resemble those of other ancient and modern bison. This species lived when it was still common in northern Siberia, but became rare around 8,000 years ago. Studies show that the Yuka bison was a picky eater, grazing mainly in harsh environments filled with shrubs and forests. As habitats changed due to climate shifts, the bison population declined, leading to their extinction. Number 20. 40,000 years old, permafrost baby horse. Scientists in Siberia have found a perfectly preserved baby horse that lived 30,000 to 40,000 years ago. This foal, known as the Lena horse, is from an extinct species called Equus linensis, which is different from modern horses in the area. The foal was discovered in the Batagaika crater, nicknamed the Gateway to the Underworld. Residents first spotted it, and scientists from Japan and Russia carefully dug it out of the frozen ground. The foal is only about 2 to 3 months old and measures around 98 centimeters tall at the shoulder. Its dark brown coat, mane, tail, and even internal organs are in excellent condition. Dr. Semyon Grigoriev, a museum expert, called this find completely unique because of its well-preserved condition. Researchers are now studying the foal to learn more about its diet and how it lived during the Upper Paleolithic period. Number 21. Sapaga Mammoth. The Sapaga Mammoth, also known as Zhenya, was found in October 2012 on the Taimyr Peninsula in Russia, about 3 kilometers from a weather station. It's considered the best-preserved mammoth discovery in the last 100 years. This mammoth was a male, around 15 to 16 years old, and died about 48,000 years ago. Zhenya is the second best-preserved mammoth ever found, after another discovered in 1901. To recover the body, workers used steam, axes, and picks for over a week. It was then flown by helicopter to Dudinka, where it was stored in an ice chamber. The remains were discovered by an 11-year-old boy named Yevgeny Salinger, whose nickname is Zhenya. Number 22. Ice Age Wolf Puppy. In the summer of 2016, a gold miner named Neil Lovelace in Canada's Yukon Territory made an incredible discovery. While using a water cannon to blast through permafrost, he noticed something unusual melting out of the ice. Instead of gold, it was the oldest and most complete wolf mummy ever found. Lovelace quickly put the frozen pup in a freezer until scientists could examine it. They discovered it was a young female wolf from a time when Canada was home to giant animals like American mastodons. The local Trondhekwetchen people named her Doore, which means wolf in their language. This 57,000-year-old pup is special because while many ancient mammals have been found in Siberia, this is the first time such a well-preserved wolf has been found in the Yukon. This discovery gives us a unique look into the past of the Ice Age. Number 23. Leuba the woolly mammoth. About 400,000 years ago, woolly mammoths first appeared in Siberia. They later spread to North America and Europe during the last Ice Age. These giant, hairy creatures were similar to elephants, standing over 4 meters tall. They had large, curved tusks and were well adapted to the cold, with thick skin and fat. In 2007, a Siberian reindeer herder named Yuri Kudi found a baby mammoth, later named Leuba. He knew she was special and went to get help, but when he returned, she was gone. She was eventually found near a house and bartered for snowmobiles and food. Sadly, dogs had chewed on her ear and tail. Scientists studied Leuba and discovered she was about 42,000 years old. She had drowned when she was just a month old. Tests showed her organs were intact, and her intestines contained her mother's dung, which helped her digest food. Leuba has been displayed in a few countries, including Australia. Number 24, Doore, found in the permafrost of Russia. An 18,000-year-old puppy named Doore was found in the Siberian permafrost in 2018 and amazed scientists with its excellent preservation, including fur, whiskers, and eyelashes. When it was discovered, researchers couldn't tell if Doore was a dog or a wolf. The name Doore means friend in the local Yakut language and also hints at the question of its identity. In 2022, scientists used genomic sequencing to discover that Doore was actually a wolf. Number 25, Pleistocene wolf puppy. Scientists discovered a well-preserved puppy from the Pleistocene era, frozen for about 12,400 years in Siberia. This puppy, likely a dog, has an exceptionally preserved brain, giving researchers hope for valuable insights and even the possibility of cloning. The puppy was found in the Saga Republic, near the river Sialak, and it may have died in a landslide which helped preserve it in the permafrost. An autopsy and MRI scans showed that both the body and brain are about 70–80% intact. Researchers will also test the soil around the puppy for bacteria and parasites. Some bone tools were found nearby, suggesting these puppies might have been ancient pets, although there isn't enough evidence to confirm this. Experts, including those involved in cloning extinct species, are excited about this remarkable find and the potential knowledge it could bring. As we wrap up our journey into the ancient civilizations hidden beneath the ice, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible stories these discoveries tell. Each body uncovered gives us valuable insights into the lives, struggles, and cultures of those who lived long ago. Their legacy reminds us of humanity's resilience and the mysteries that still await us in our world. Join us next time as we continue to explore the fascinating history that shapes our present.